The crystal chandeliers cast golden light across marble floors. The annual Caldwell University Gala hummed with wealth and privilege. Champagne flutes clinked. Designer gowns swirled. Dr. Maya Richardson moved through the crowd in an emerald green dress that commanded attention without demanding it. She approached the donors' circle. Richard Caldwell stood at its center, silver hair gleaming. His custom suit cost more than her first year's tuition. Dr. Richardson. The president greeted her warmly. Richard, one of our distinguished alumni. Richard's eyes swept over her. Alumni, which year? Class of 2010, full scholarship. Now managing partner at Summit Ventures. Maya extended her hand. He took it limply. Scholarship? Well, we do love our diversity initiatives. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Tell me, Doctor, do you find your education prepared you? The circle went quiet. It taught me everything I needed. Her voice remained steady. Wonderful. Though standards were different when I attended. Before we relaxed certain requirements, he turned to the others. No offense intended. Laughter rippled through the group. Nervous. Complicit. Maya's fingers tightened around her champagne flute. She said nothing. But her eyes burned with something Richard Caldwell didn't recognize. Not yet. Maya's corner office overlooked the city from the 42nd floor. The Caldwell University clock tower stood visible in the distance, bronze face catching afternoon sun. She'd built Summit Ventures from nothing over 8 years. Strategic acquisitions, calculated risks. Her portfolio now exceeded $2 billion. Not inherited, earned. Photos lined her desk. Her mother in a hospital uniform, her diploma, her mother's naturalization certificate. Reminders of where she came from. She remembered arriving at Caldwell 15 years ago. One suitcase, a scholarship letter. Her mother had cried at the bus station, hands rough from janitorial work. Make it mean something, baby. Maya had made it mean everything, summa cum laude. Harvard MBA. Silicon Valley, Wall Street, her own firm. Each step deliberate through 18-hour days and brilliant instinct. The scholarship opened a door. Maya walked through it on her own strength. She thought about Richard's words. Diversity initiatives. As if her perfect GPA meant nothing. Her doctorate meant nothing. She sat down at her desk. The city sprawled below, indifferent and infinite. Maya had learned something Caldwell never would. Underestimation was a weapon, and she knew exactly how to use it. The gala dinner began with speeches. Richard took the podium first, basking in applause. He spoke about legacy, excellence, tradition. His father's name appeared in every third sentence. Maya watched from her table near the back. Not the donors' circle. Not yet. And speaking of our commitment to opportunity, Richard's voice carried across the ballroom. I'm delighted to see so many scholarship recipients here tonight. Proof that when we lower barriers, talent can emerge from unexpected places. Lower barriers, as if excellence required lowering standards. After dinner, Richard approached her table. Board members trailed behind him. Dr. Richardson, a word. He didn't wait. I've been thinking about your firm. Summit Ventures, yes? That's correct. I'd like to offer mentorship. Pro bono. His smile was magnanimous. I know how challenging it is for people from your background to navigate elite circles. Maya set down her cup carefully. My background. First generation. Scholarship student. These things follow us. He leaned closer. I could introduce you to real investors. Help you scale beyond wherever you are now. One board member coughed. Another studied the tablecloth. Mr. Caldwell, Summit manages $2.3 billion in assets. We closed 4 acquisitions last quarter. He blinked. Oh, well, the offer stands. She stood, meeting his eyes. I appreciate your generosity, but I don't need mentorship from men who confuse inheritance with accomplishment. The words landed like a slap. Richard's face darkened. The board members froze. Maya walked away, her emerald dress a slash of color against white marble. Behind her she heard Richard's forced laughter. Dismissive, bitter. He didn't know her name. Didn't know her reputation. Didn't know anything beyond his own assumptions. That would be his first mistake, but not his last. Maya sat in her car for 20 minutes before driving. The parking garage was silent, except for distant traffic hum. Her hands gripped the steering wheel, knuckles tight. She wasn't angry. Anger was too small for what she felt. She thought about her mother, 63 years old now, retired after 40 years cleaning offices, including offices at Caldwell University. Maya had visited her at work once during freshman year, watched her mother empty trash cans in the very building where Richard Caldwell's name was etched in marble. Her mother never complained, never said it was unfair that she scrubbed floors while entitled students walked past without seeing her. She just worked, saved, sacrificed. Maya remembered the scholarship letter, full tuition, room and board, a chance. Her mother had framed it before Maya even accepted. "They're giving you something nobody gave me," her mother had said. "You take it. You use it. You make them see, make them see." Maya started the car. The city lights blurred through sudden tears she refused to let fall. Richard Caldwell had laughed tonight. The same laugh she'd heard 15 years ago at freshman orientation, when he joked about charity cases during his welcome speech. When other students laughed along, comfortable in their privilege, she'd carried that laugh for 15 years, transformed it into fuel. Now it was time to transform it into something else entirely. Justice. 15 years earlier, Maya's first day at Caldwell University, she walked through the gates with her suitcase and backpack. Other freshmen arrived in luxury cars. She'd taken 3 buses. The campus was beautiful. Gothic architecture, manicured lawns. The clock tower rising against blue sky. Orientation week. Richard Caldwell gave the opening address. "Welcome to Caldwell University. My father founded this institution on excellence and merit." He paused. "Of course, we've expanded our mission. Diversity scholarships, reduced standards for certain populations. Progress requires sacrifice." Laughter rippled through the auditorium. Maya sat in back, stomach churning. Her roommate Jennifer leaned over. "Did he just—" "Yeah. Jennifer lasted 1 semester. I can't spend 4 years being invisible," but Maya stayed. Studied while classmates partied. Worked while they vacationed. Graduated with honors while they graduated with connections. Her mother called every Sunday. "They treating you right?" "I'm handling it." What she didn't say, the microaggressions, the assumptions, the constant feeling of being tolerated rather than welcomed, her mother's words sustained her. "They can mock your beginning, but they can't write your ending. That's yours." Maya wrote her own ending, 1 perfect grade at a time, and now Richard Caldwell stood in her way again, still mocking, still dismissing. His worst nightmare, wearing emerald green and diamond earrings. Maya's research team delivered the report Monday morning. Thick manila folder, confidential watermarks on every page. She sat at her desk as dawn light filled her office. The Caldwell University clock tower gleamed in the distance. She opened the folder. Caldwell Industries, privately held conglomerate founded by Richard's father, passed down through inheritance. Current CEO, Richard Caldwell. Current status collapsing. The numbers painted a brutal picture. Outdated business model. Failed expansion into tech sector. Massive debt from over-leveraged acquisitions. Stock hemorrhaging value in private markets. The company was bleeding millions monthly. Maya flipped pages. More revelations emerged. Richard had been selling personal assets quietly. Manhattan penthouse, sold. Art collection, auctioned. Yacht, liquidated. He was using personal wealth to prop up the company, delaying inevitable bankruptcy. And Caldwell University? The endowment depended heavily on Richard's annual donations. $20 million per year, the scholarship fund he created in his father's name. Funded entirely by Caldwell Industries dividends. Dividends that no longer existed. Maya's analyst had included a memo. The university board doesn't know yet. Caldwell is hiding the company's condition. When they find out, the financial fallout will be catastrophic. Recommend monitoring situation. Maya leaned back in her chair. The irony was almost poetic. Richard Caldwell had built nothing. His father gave him everything: company, reputation, wealth. And Richard was losing it all through arrogance and incompetence. Meanwhile, Maya had built her empire from a scholarship and sheer determination. No inheritance, no safety net, just skill. She thought about his words at the gala. Lower barriers, unexpected places. Her phone buzzed. Her mother's morning text. "Proud of you today and every day," Maya smiled. She picked up her office phone and dialed her chief investment officer. "Marcus, that Caldwell situation we discussed. I want a full acquisition analysis, not just the company. Everything connected to it, including the university." Maya looked at the clock tower through her window. The same tower she'd gazed at as a struggling freshman. The same halls where her mother once cleaned floors. "Especially the university," she hung up. The city stretched below, full of possibility. Richard Caldwell had laughed at her degree. Soon, she'd own the institution that granted it. The university board meeting convened 3 weeks later. Maya sat in the visitors' gallery, invited as a potential major donor. Richard presided at the head of the table, confident despite everything crumbling around him. He didn't know she knew. Nobody did yet. The board discussed declining enrollment, rising operational costs, the need for fresh capital. Dr. Richardson. The board chair smiled warmly. "We're honored by your interest in supporting Caldwell." Maya stood. "I'm prepared to commit $50 million to the endowment." "Immediate transfer," gasps circled the table. Richard's eyebrows rose. "That's extraordinarily generous," the chair said. "With conditions. Full transparency on financials. Seat on the investment committee. Naming rights for the new scholarship building." Richard leaned forward. "I think I should mention, Dr. Richardson was one of our scholarship recipients. I actually helped guide her early in her career." Several board members nodded appreciatively. Maya smiled. She didn't correct him. "Not yet. I'm also interested in corporate acquisition opportunities, particularly in legacy industries facing modernization challenges." Richard barely listened. He was already imagining the press release. His name beside hers, taking credit for her success. The board voted unanimously to accept her donation. After the meeting, Richard approached her. "I'm glad you took my mentorship seriously. This donation, it reflects well on both of us." Maya shook his hand. "I'm just getting started, Mr. Caldwell." He smiled, oblivious. He saw a grateful former student, not the storm gathering on his horizon. 2 days later, financial news broke during market hours. Caldwell Industries faces bankruptcy amid mounting debt and failed acquisitions. Sources indicate CEO Richard Caldwell has been selling personal assets to cover operational losses. Stock value in freefall. Maya watched from her office. Her phone exploded with notifications. Richard's carefully constructed image collapsed in real time. Business networks dissected his failures. Former partners distanced themselves. The family empire his father built was disintegrating. Her phone rang. The university board chair. "Dr. Richardson, I'm calling about—" "You've probably seen the news." "I have. Richard's donations to the university. They've stopped immediately. We're looking at a $20 million annual shortfall." His voice cracked. "The scholarship fund he endowed, it's gone. We may have to cut programs." Maya looked at the clock tower through her window. Students crossed the quad below, unaware their world was shifting. "What if someone else stepped in?" she asked quietly. "We'd need a miracle. Multiple miracles. What if I told you I'm prepared to discuss a comprehensive investment, not just in the university, in Caldwell Industries as well?" Silence on the line. "Then you'd consider acquiring Richard's company?" "I'd consider acquiring everything that needs saving." He'd have to agree. "It's still his company." Maya's smile was cold. "He'll agree." "He has no choice," her assistant knocked. "Mr. Caldwell is here. No appointment. Says it's urgent." Maya ended the call. She straightened papers on her desk, taking her time. "Send him in." Richard entered, looking like he'd aged 5 years in 2 days. His suit was wrinkled, hair uncombed, the confident benefactor replaced by a desperate man. "I need help." No greeting, no pretense. Maya gestured to a chair. "Sit down, Mr. Caldwell, let's talk." Richard sat alone in his office after leaving Maya's building. She'd asked for time to consider his situation, as if she were doing him a favor. The walls felt closer than before. Photos of his father lined the shelves. Stern face, disappointed eyes. Richard had inherited an empire. Han destroyed it through arrogance and incompetence. His phone stayed silent. Friends who called daily now avoided him. Business partners stopped returning emails. The university quietly removed his name from donor recognition walls. He understood, finally, what Maya must have felt 15 years ago. Walking through campus as a scholarship student, invisible, dismissed, tolerated but not welcomed. The irony cut deep. He thought about the gala, his casual cruelty, diversity initiatives, lowered standards. He'd said it so easily, never questioning whether he'd earned his own place at the table. He hadn't. His father bought his admission, bought his first job, bought his reputation. Maya earned everything herself. He stared at his father's portrait. For the first time, Richard saw the truth. He was never worthy of what he'd inherited. He was a placeholder, a name attached to someone else's achievement. The silence in his office was absolute. Even his secretary had quit. He was alone with his failures. And the woman he'd mocked now held his entire legacy in her hands. The fear was suffocating. Maya's team worked through the weekend. Acquisition documents, financial restructuring plans, university partnership proposals. Saturday evening, her mother visited the office. She brought homemade food in containers, like she had during Maya's college years. "You working too hard, baby," Maya hugged her. "Big week coming up, Mama." Her mother set food on the desk, then noticed the documents. "What's all this?" "Remember Caldwell University, where you used to clean?" "Of course. You know I'm proud every day you graduated from there." Maya pulled up a chair. "What if I told you we're about to own it?" Her mother's hands stilled. "Own the university and the company that funds it, and everything connected to both." Tears filled her mother's eyes. The one who laughed at you?" "Richard Caldwell. He's broke, Mama. Lost everything his father built. Now he needs me to save him." Her mother touched Maya's face. "You're not doing this for revenge." "No, I'm doing it for every student who felt invisible, every parent who cleaned offices so their children could study, every person told they didn't belong." Maya took her mother's hands. "I'm doing it for us." Her mother pulled her close. "Your grandmother cleaned houses. I cleaned offices. You're buying the building." She laughed through tears. "Baby, you didn't just break the cycle. You rewrote it." Monday morning, Maya called Richard. "I have a proposal. My office tomorrow, 9 a.m. I'll be there." She hung up and looked at the clock tower, the same tower that witnessed her arrival as an uncertain freshman. The same halls where people like Richard made people like her feel small. Soon those halls would belong to her, and she'd make sure no student ever felt invisible again. The conference room was silent except for breathing. The entire Caldwell University board sat around the table, Richard at one end, Maya at the other. Her attorney distributed folders. Complete acquisition proposal. Caldwell Industries. University restructuring. New governance framework. Richard opened his folder with shaking hands. The numbers were brutal. His company valued at a fraction of its former worth. His personal stake diluted to almost nothing. But it was survival, barely. The board chair read carefully. "Dr. Richardson, this is comprehensive. You'd acquire the company, restructure the debt, and commit to sustained university funding?" "Correct. 100 million over 5 years. New scholarship programs. Facility improvements. Full transparency." One board member cleared his throat. "And Mr. Caldwell's role?" Maya looked directly at Richard. "Consultant. No executive authority. He'll help with transition, then step back. Richard's face went red. This is my father's company, my family's legacy. Your father built it. You destroyed it. Maya's voice was ice. You have two choices. Accept my offer and save what's left, or file bankruptcy and lose everything. You think your charity degree makes you qualified to run— Stop! The board chair cut him off. Richard, enough. Maya opened another folder. Since we're discussing qualifications. She slid documents across the table. My education, summa cum laude undergraduate, top 5% Harvard MBA. My professional record, 42 successful acquisitions, $2 billion in managed assets, 0 bankruptcies. She slid another set toward Richard. Your record, inherited company, failed tech expansion, over-leveraged acquisitions, $300 million in losses over 5 years, multiple strategic failures. She paused. You want to compare qualifications? The room was silent. Richard's face crumbled. I built this. You built nothing. Your father built it. You inherited privilege and mistook it for competence. One board member shifted uncomfortably. Another nodded slowly. Maya continued, voice steady. I built my career from a scholarship and determination. No safety net, no inherited wealth, just skill and work. Everything you dismissed as lowered standards made me stronger than you ever were. Richard looked at the board. You're going to let her— Richard. The board chair's voice was firm. The vote is today. Accept Dr. Richardson's offer, or we find another buyer. Your choice. Maya watched him, saw the moment he broke. The moment arrogance finally met consequence. How long do I have? His voice was barely audible. The offer expires in 1 hour. Richard looked at his father's portrait on the wall. Then at Maya. She didn't gloat, didn't smile. Just waited. Where do I sign? The board voted. Unanimous. Maya acquired Caldwell Industries, gained majority influence over university governance, and ensured the scholarship fund would never disappear again. As board members congratulated her, Richard sat motionless, defeated, humbled. Maya approached him quietly. Mr. Caldwell, one more thing. He looked up, exhausted. The new scholarship building? I'm naming it after my mother. Her name on the building she once cleaned. She paused. Every student who enters will know success isn't about where you start. It's about where you refuse to stop. Richard said nothing. There was nothing left to say. 6 months later, spring morning at Caldwell University. The Richardson Scholarship Center stood complete. Modern glass and steel beside historic stone. Maya's mother's name etched in bronze above the entrance. Below it a quote, "They can mock your beginning, but they can't write your ending." Maya and her mother stood at the dedication ceremony. Students gathered on the lawn, faculty, donors, press. The board chair gave opening remarks. Maya's story, scholarship student to university benefactor. Rags to riches, but deeper than that. Justice to transformation. When Maya spoke, she kept it brief. This building honors every person told they don't belong. Every parent who sacrificed. Every student who proved excellence has nothing to do with privilege. Her mother wiped tears. Maya held her hand. Afterward, they walked through campus. First-generation students approached Maya, thanking her. Scholarship recipients who now saw possibility where others saw charity. One girl, freshman, approached nervously. Dr. Richardson? I'm here on the Richardson Scholarship. I just wanted to say— She paused. My mom cleans offices too. And now I'm here. Because of what you did. Maya's throat tightened. What's your major? Computer science. I want to start my own company someday. You will. Maya meant it. They found Richard in the courtyard. He'd stayed on as consultant, learning humility through actual work. He looked different, quieter, less certain. Dr. Richardson. He nodded respectfully. Mr. Caldwell. He gestured at the new building. It's beautiful. Your mother must be proud. She is. Awkward silence. Then, I owe you an apology. For the gala, For 15 years ago. For everything. Maya studied him. Apology accepted. But the real amends is what you do next. Use this experience. Teach others. Be better. He nodded. I'm trying. She believed him. Transformation wasn't always comfortable, but it was possible. Maya and her mother walked toward the clock tower. The bronze face gleamed in afternoon light, same as always, but everything beneath it had changed. You did it, baby, her mother whispered. We did it, Mama, together. Maya stood alone in her office that evening. The city glowed below. The clock tower visible in the distance, lit gold against darkening sky. She thought about the journey. Scholarship letter, invisible freshman, dismissed graduate, mocked professional, now university benefactor and company owner. The emerald dress from the gala hung in her closet. She'd never wear it again. Didn't need to. It had served its purpose, armor for a battle she'd been fighting since she arrived on campus 15 years ago. But the battle wasn't about Richard. It was never about Richard. It was about every person told they didn't deserve their seat at the table. Every achievement dismissed as charity. Every success attributed to lowered standards rather than extraordinary effort. Maya hadn't destroyed Richard. She'd simply revealed what was always true. Privilege without skill is empty. Inheritance without effort is hollow. And the people dismissed as unexpected often possess the strongest foundations. Her mother's words echoed. They can mock your beginning, but they can't write your ending. Maya wrote her ending in emerald ink and steel determination. She wrote it in acquisition documents and scholarship buildings. She wrote it in the faces of students who now walked campus feeling seen. The clock tower chimed the hour. Same bells that rang during her freshman orientation. Same sound that marked her graduation. Same rhythm that counted every triumph since. But the meaning had transformed. Those bells no longer marked time in someone else's institution. They rang in hers. Maya smiled, closed her laptop. Tomorrow she'd meet with the scholarship committee. Next week, new facility plans. Next month, expanded programs. The work was just beginning. But the ending, her ending, was already written, and it was beautiful.